This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
So here are the four pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, and the Euro Swiss. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during yesterday's report and two reports back, I mentioned the potential for an evening star pattern, but that was negated by this candle right here, which took out the high of the star candle that I was speaking about. I also mentioned during yesterday's report that this could take the form of a two candles to form what would be not an official evening star pattern, but the same price action nonetheless, and that's kind of what's happening here. So I would consider this to be a borderline reversal, and you have a slight bearish bias against the high right here, and that would be the 90.82 area. And right now prices are right about the 90 figure, so there's really not a good risk reward setup. So I would look for prices to rally close to I'd say the 90.50 area, where we might consider a short entry. But again, I might take another day on this trade just to see how the price action plays out. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and during yesterday's report I mentioned the lower channel line here, and I also mentioned what I wanted to see, and that's the prices leaving behind a long wick to the downside, then closing back inside the channel. That's exactly what happened, and now prices are about at the 120.71 area, and the channel is about 120.27. So moving forward over the next 24 hours or so, let me zoom in here and give you a better idea of exactly what I'm looking for. I would have a slight bullish bias against the low of this candle right here, which is right about at that 120 figure, 120.007. So moving forward, that's the price point that I would be using to set up long trades, and ideally I would like to get an entry close to the bottom here, close to the lower channel line, but maybe around the 2040 area, and again placing our stop maybe about the 1990 area. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and not much has changed here. As I mentioned during yesterday's report, it looks like a bottoming formation here. I just don't see anything clear that I could base the trade on, possibly using this price and possibly using the low of this candle right here, which is 66.74, to have a slight bullish bias. But again, this is very low confidence on this trade idea. I would give this another 24 to 48 hours and see how the daily candles play out. The last chart is the Euro Swiss. If you recall, during yesterday's report, I mentioned how prices could be forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and we might look to enter on the right shoulder, which would be this area right here. Prices did come down, penetrated by just a few pips, and actually right now they're at the line, or maybe just a pip or two beneath the line. So I still like this trade idea to enter, and considering prices right now are at that level, I like the trade to enter now on the long side and placing our stop below the low of the doji candle, which is 51.10. So maybe the 51.05, or maybe even the 51.50.90 area would be my ideal location for a stop. And considering prices right now are only at the 151.25 area, that's very little risk, and the reward is high. My first target, if this line does hold, my first target would be at least to the 152 figure. So that's something we can look for over the next 24 to 48 hours. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX forums. I want to go ahead and formally welcome everybody to the DailyFX forum. And I want to explain a little bit about the forum and the wealth of information that you can obtain from the forum, and how to go about doing so, how to find the things you want. So I'm just going to dive right in right now, and this is DailyFX.com, and this is usually how I navigate my way towards the forums. Obviously, it really depends on each individual how they access the forums, but this is how I go ahead and do it. I go DailyFX.com, go ahead and click on the forum on top, and this brings you to the DailyFX forum homepage, and this highlights the most recent posts with the subject. So if you see anything that you're interested in, you can obviously go ahead and click. What I like to do is click on the forums tab like this, and go ahead and view the forums in the normal, typical way that forums are set up. And here you go. There are a bunch of threads down here. And I'm just going to go ahead and go directly to the forum, the video you just viewed, where you viewed it. So let's go ahead. This is the DailyFX Instructor Tips Forum, identifying trades with DailyFX. That's me. And go ahead and click on the most recent post. So this is where you are right now viewing the video, although the video will be the video beneath this one that you're watching right now. So Normally when I'm on the forums, and what I would do is just scroll up to the top. Certainly you can check out any of my previous videos, and especially if I did mention them in the report or in the video that you're viewing at that moment. And what I will do is go ahead and click on the forums, and then look for the forums that I like, that I have interest in. One of them would be the Euro Dollar forum, and this again, it's really up to each individual trader as to exactly how they want to use the forum. Personally, what I like to do, the first thing I do is I'll go to the Euro Dollar thread. I'll go and click on the latest post. And what I'll do here is, and again, I just want to really emphasize this point. It depends on your exact mindset when you're viewing. And me as a trader, I have some experience. So what I do and how I personally use the forum is I go through and I'll read what people are saying about the euro, what their trade ideas are. I certainly try to maintain my own individual objectivity, and I really don't pay much attention to what other traders are saying in terms of my trading. I'm not going to certainly see something on a forum and then go jump into a trade, but what it will do, it will open my eyes to certain trading opportunities, maybe a certain line or a certain time frame that I haven't looked at before. So that's one way that I personally like to utilize the DailyFX forum. But certainly for newer traders, there are plenty of topics that you can go over. Let's say you might not be well versed in terms of certain currency pairs that you want to learn about. Scalping, you might not know what Elliott wave is. You can go ahead and click there and see exactly what you can understand, what you might not understand, and then certainly feel free to ask questions about any of these topics that you have. Maybe the carry trade, maybe you have some questions about that, or the sentiment, the SSI, or the latest economic news, FX programmers, the webinars, MT4. Any questions about active trader, you can go ahead and click on those threads. So again, it's very free, very open, and there is a wealth of information here and just waiting for to be utilized. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening.